Hello again, all, this is Eatmopie, and another patch is upon us, patch 5.3. It is time for another Windwalker monk guide. Now, not a whole lot has changed for us this patch. They've changed some things with PvP power and resilience, and we'll get to that. But they did buff us a little bit. Our Rising Sun kick now gives us a 20% increased damage on the target once it has the debuff on it. Now, they also changed our Ring of Peace, and they just made it better. So now that when it initially goes up, or initially somebody walks into it, bam, they are immediately silenced and disarmed for 3 seconds. Okay, now let's quickly talk talents, because everybody's going to ask. Now, my feeling on talents is they don't really matter. Most of them don't matter. You have your movement talent tree. You can choose whatever you want. Tiger's Lust has benefits if you're heroic rating, but you know that already if you're heroic rating. Healing talent-wise, Chi Wave is the best as a DPS. That's just the bottom line. It's the most useful. I wish I could use Chi Burst, but it just doesn't make sense. The next tier is your Chi tier, and Ascension is still the best in my opinion. There's some people that like Power Strikes, and there's some people that like Chi Brew, but Ascension works the best for me. I do the most DPS with it. The next tier doesn't really matter for PvE DPS. For PvP, I am using Ring of Peace, so I just keep that there. 75 tier is kind of utility stuff, stay alive stuff. Healing Elixirs is great for PvE or PvP, doesn't really matter. I really don't like Dampen Harm, it's kind of a waste in my opinion. And Diffuse Magic, I like Diffuse Magic. I solo a lot, and reducing magic damage taken is always a nice thing as a melee. The next tier, there really is no option other than Zune, Shun, whatever, your big white kitty. He is the best for PvE, probably the best for PvP as well, but PvP I tend to use Chi Torpedo just because it's fun, and I solo a lot again. As far as glyphs go, no big secret. Touch of the Glyph of Karma is the most important one. All the other ones don't really matter except for your Blackout Kick. That removes the positional requirements to put the dot on the target when you use Blackout Kick. Okay, Reforging. Now this is very, very simple. There's not much to it. Agility is absolutely 100% your best stat. Period. End of story. There is nothing better than agility for a Windwalker monk. Now as far as, well, first of all, let's talk about this. Reforge Light. This is the most amazing add-on that I've ever used, probably. And no, they don't pay me. I'm just saying it's great. So if you don't use this, you should use this. Go and get it. It's a super small add-on. Doesn't take up a lot of memory, and it makes life so easy. It does all these calculations for you and allows you to set up your Reforging 1, 2, 3. Now, as far as priority goes, if your gear level, if your item level is over 490-ish, then your stat priority looks like this. Agility over hit and expertise to 7.5%. Those are your caps. Over crit, over haste, over mastery. Now there's a case for mastery being better at a very high item level, but somewhere around my item level, the 510-ish range, crit is hands down the best, and it's the same for PvP as well. Crit is the best. Now before I go any further, yes, I'm using a two-handed weapon. No, that is not optimal. Dual wielding does more damage, period. Dual wielding is better. However, my two-handed weapon is substantially better than my dual wielding weapons, and so I'm using that. It's not optimal, but it's still pretty good, and we're still competitive. Anyway, moving on, let's talk gems. Gems are very, very easy for Windwalker PvE. Well, for PvP as well now. Agility. Crit is my best stat. Agility and crit in my yellow slots. Agility and hit in my blue slots. Socket bonuses are almost always worth getting. It's like free stats, so take them. And agility, agility, agility. I cannot stress how good agility is for Windwalker monks, period. So that's really about it, and I hate to say it, but this is the first time ever that I've actually come up with the same results as the simulations. Usually we have a difference of opinion, but no, not this time. It is crit, haste, mastery. Anyway, now let's talk rotation quickly, because I'm going to assume that you have a base understanding of how a Windwalker monk works if you're watching this video. If you do not, go and check out one of my older videos, my older Windwalker monk guides, and hopefully that will walk you through the process. The bottom line is nothing has really changed since 5.2, other than the fact that we do more damage. Yeah, that's nice, isn't it? Anyway, you do use Chi Wave in your rotation. Blackout Kick is your spam ability. Now, Fist of Fury is one to talk about. The high-end players, the high-end Windwalker raiders, a lot of them are not using Fist of Fury in their rotation, and because they're saying it's just not worth it once they get to a certain item level. And that may be true. I am not at that item level yet. I have tested this extensively, and Fist of Fury absolutely, for me, in my 5-10 item level, is an increase in DPS. Rotation is very simple. You keep your Tiger Palm debuff up always, as much as possible, but you do not want to spam Tiger Palm, okay? It is a DPS loss. You use it when it procs, or if your debuff is about to fall off and you absolutely have to, you haven't got a proc, which happens sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes, and you'll have to use it then. Which is alright with me, because a lot of times I'm setting up a Fist of Fury, and that just makes it easier. Rising Sun Kick is absolutely your best attack. If you have the opportunity to jab twice in a row, do it. You do want to try and use your procs before a jab, and if you drop below 80% health, you're going to want to use Expel Harm instead of jab, just to help your healers out. Chi Wave, you generally want to use it on cooldown, but you do not want to use it if you're at full energy. It's a waste of DPS. It's more important to use your big attacks, your Blackout Kicks, your Rising Sun Kicks, than it is to use your Chi Wave. You'll fit it in there somewhere. As far as DPS cooldowns go, Tiger Eye Brew, you want to use it somewhere between 6 and 8 stacks. That's going to be your optimal DPS. You get those very quickly. Now, if you happen to have the Rune of Re-Origination, then you want to try and save your Tiger Eye Brew to 10 stacks and use it on a Trinket proc. That's going to optimize your DPS. It's going to maximize your DPS. It's going to maximize your burst. It's not that easy to do. Honestly, I'm using the Trinket right now, and it procs randomly. It's really hard to judge, and you don't want to just stack up to 20 Tiger Eye Brew. You don't want to do that. It's just a total waste of DPS that you can use consistently. I mean, that's the big thing with Windwalker monks. We're not going to top the charts in the first 10 seconds of a fight. We're just not going to. But we have solid, steady, consistent DPS, and our DPS is going to go up and up and up throughout the fight. A lot of classes, mages and shamans and things, they're going to blow all their cooldowns in the first 10 seconds. They're going to do crazy DPS, and then their DPS is steadily going to drop throughout the entire fight. Monks are the opposite. Our DPS is going to go up throughout the entire fight. Okay, anyway, quick AoE thing. Monks have great cleave DPS. If there are more than one target that is going to live for more than 30 seconds, it is worth using one of your images. If there are 3, use 2 of your images. Make sure you do not attack the same target as an image, and just use your single target rotation. Do not use them in an AoE situation unless they're going to live for a long time. It's just not worth it. As far as just plain old AoE, if mobs are going to die within 10 or 20 seconds, you fly in with your Flying Serpent Kick, you jab twice, well, you should jab twice, then you Rising Sun Kick to get the debuff on all the targets, get your Tiger Palm buff up, and then you can Spinning Crane Kick. You can usually get 3 in and then use your Rising Sun kick again. And your Tiger Palm if you'd like. It's easy enough. You'll have 3 chi. And boom. That is your AoE rotation. It's kind of boring, but it's pretty solid. I mean, we have pretty decent AoE as a Windwalker monk. Not the best, not the worst, just decent. And, yeah, that's really about it. So, this is one of the new scenarios, and I'm just going to show you what the AoE rotation looks like when you actually do it. Now, I do use, because I'm technically tanking these as a Windwalker, I use some cooldowns to keep myself alive. But you can see I'm doing the same thing. I'm Rising Sun kick, Tiger Palm, spinning crane kick, spinning crane kick, spinning crane kick, and that pretty much does it. And my DPS, 130k, that's reasonable, that's fine, that's not bad. I'm only self-buffed. So, now, this last little bit here is the final fight in one of the new scenarios, and also it's like a combination of everything that you just learned as far as rotation goes, hopefully. So there's a little bit of everything, a little AoE, little cooldown usage, and I'm even going to use some images here just because these mobs are going to live longer than 30 seconds or so. And no, your Rising Sun kick debuffs don't actually stack and do triple the damage, but it does increase your images damage just like they gain Tiger Palm, so that's why you go with your single target rotation. So it's basically just Rising Sun kick, Tiger Palm to keep your debuff up, and spam your blackout kicks until you get to a point where you're around 10% energy and you have 2 chi left. You can get a jab in there soon and fit in a Fist of Fury. You do not want to cap energy ever. You should never be capping energy, and if you are, then that's a mistake, and you can come back from a mistake. Everybody makes mistakes. I make mistakes. I've probably made a dozen in this video. But anyway, don't let anybody tell you Windwalker monks do not do good DPS. We do. We absolutely are competitive. We may be the top melee DPSers, although Enhancement Shamans are looking pretty effing crazy in patch 5.3. Anyway, let's talk PvP stat priority, because I know a lot of people are going to ask. First of all, dual wielding is still best, period, hands down. Now, they did change resilience and PvP power a lot. They changed the gems, they changed the way that it feels, they nerfed the crap out of the gear. It's just, yeah, it's crazy. I'm in full tyrannical gear, I have 35% PvP power. That's silly. Everybody has 65% resilience. If you gem full resilience, you can get up to 68%. 100% not worth it. Waste of solid stats. PvP power, PvP resilience, no longer worth gemming at all. At all in patch 5.3 for a Windwalker monk. Agility is still, it is just far better. With the nerf to the gems, you can see they made them like main stats, and you just can't get a whole lot of PvP power and PvP resilience, and you definitely can't get enough to justify losing the agility that you could otherwise have in those sockets. So agility and something else. I'm using agility and crit, I'm using straight agility, and I'm using agility and stamina, because there is a hell of a lot of burst in patch 5.3. Everybody is doing more damage, and you've got to be prepared for that. So the extra 5,000 stam that I'm getting from my 3 gems is more important than the extra little hit that I would get, or the PvP power and PvP resilience I would get. It's just not worth it. So agility is your main stat. Stack it all that you can, and you will do very well in PvP. That's the bottom line. That's my advice to you. This is my testing, my personal opinions, and in no way can I substantiate that other than, you know, showing you a bunch of battlegrounds that I've done, which I've already done that, I think. Anyway, hopefully this has helped you. If you have any questions, please leave me comments below. Let me know. if you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. I really do appreciate it. It helps so much. And if you'd like to play with me on US or EU, although I haven't had a lot of time for EU, I'm sorry guys, but it will happen. 5.3 is changing everything. But anyway, if you'd like to play with me, go over to my Facebook, like it, send me a message with your battle tag, and we'll try and get together. I get everybody on there, and I will send out general announcements, do some PvP or whatever, and first come, first serve. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. This is Eatmopie. I'll see ya.